are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, Audreyonna Sequale. Did I
Sequale,
get it?
yes. Yes.
Okay, I got it right.
hmm Yep.
Just trying to get it right. Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday to you too. We finally made it to another
Finally made
weekend.
it. Yes, yes. And I have been running all over the place. How was your week?
It was good. This was a very interesting week. A lot of reflection going on, but for the most part, it's been really great.
Hmm.
This whole week has been better than all of July, so optimism.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It
So
is, yeah.
I am so happy that you finally were able to join me on Melanin Vibes season
Yes.
two. And I know it's been, I think it was like this time last year when I first contacted you about getting on the show, and but I had to hold myself accountable. I was like, no, we're gonna circle back and we're gonna do what we said we're going to do. So
Yeah.
thank you for being here. And I like to start off the show with a little thing called Thinking Baps Are Thankful. So I would love to know what is something, and just for those of you who don't know, BAP is Black American Princess. That's what
Of
we are.
course.
Of
hmm
course, two snaps for that. So what is something that you are thankful for today?
Oh, Lord, I am thankful for sanity and my breath. I
Oh,
am thankful
yes.
for sanity because I felt like I was losing it last month. And I
Hmm.
am thankful for my breath because I'm trying to get into meditating a lot more, like a lot more,
Hmm.
and trying to regulate my mind, my emotions, and my breath. And for actually the first time yesterday, I felt like meditation actually worked for me.
Oh,
Like, I
that's
don't know if it
good.
was like a placebo effect. I don't know, but I genuinely felt something and I was like, nope, I've got to keep this going.
Hmm.
So breath work and breathing exercises has been something that I'm trying to get into more to be able to manage the stress that I've been feeling lately. So I'm thankful that I found that. Which I
That is
mean,
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, like, everybody knows like meditation, but like, I guess I'll say I'm thankful it worked this
Yeah.
time. There we go. I'm thankful it worked for me.
Well, I'm thankful you stuck with it because I love breath work. Like a lot of people don't talk about
hmm
breath work, but I have found that I love meditation as well. But breath work has really
Yeah.
helped me just to like slow myself down, slow the
hmm
mind down, just relax, and it helps me to manage my stress. That's like my number one go-to is
Yeah.
breath work. When I start getting tense, it's let me do some deep breathing and
hmm
meditation. I understand because when I first started looking into meditation, it didn't really, I was like, that's not my thing. It's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
But
No.
it is one of those practices that's why they call it a practice that you have to keep
hmm
doing. And then once you do it, eventually you'll have a day like you did yesterday and it'll just all click and like,
Yes.
that's what they're talking about. That's why we do what we do. So
hmm
I am thankful that you have been persistent with those things. And I'm
Yes,
also,
thank
let me see,
you.
what am I thankful for today? You know what? I am thankful for family. I am on the road.
Yes.
I'm actually in Memphis, Tennessee today. I
Oh,
have,
nice.
yes, I'm visiting family. So I'm visiting my cousin and my great aunt and uncle. So I am
Oh.
thankful for family and I'm thankful for the connection. I haven't seen them in quite a few years. So just
hmm
sitting around with them and laughing and reminiscing and talking about things, I am thankful for family. But
I love that.
let's get into it. I know I had a segment last year called Coping During the Pandemic. And as I was getting
hmm
started today, I was like, the pandemic, but we as Black women, we cope, period,
True.
through
Yes.
everything. So I'm going to stop
Yes.
giving the pandemic, it's 15 minutes because let's just talk about how we cope
True.
through life in
hmm
general. And to talk about that, I want to know, how did you become a mindset coach, a life coach? How
hmm
did you get down this journey and get to be where you are today?
Yeah. I tell anybody who doesn't know me, I am like a Jill of all trades. People love to say, jack of all trades, master of none, but they
Hmm.
always leave out the part that says, but better than a master of one. So,
Yes.
I love doing a million different things. And I think that becoming a mindset coach was a part of those million things. But it was
Hmm.
at the top of my list because for those who don't know me, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder in 2018.
Hmm.
And prior to that, I had a background in communications. I was a writer, and I started my blog, authenticallyasv.com, in December 2017. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, do the whole millennial advice and fashion and beauty and all of that really adorable stuff. But then,
Hmm.
boom. I got formally diagnosed and everything just kind of changed. So instead of my blog being more focused on, the fun, frilly things, it started documenting my journey with mental health. And from there, I developed my podcast called Strong Friend Check-In,
Hmm.
which is more of the same, talking about mental health in the Black community with my entrepreneur friends, my creative friends that are all local to me in Jacksonville, Florida, and some abroad also. But from there, instead of just, kind of being a resource in talking about mental health, I
Hmm.
wanted to be able to really kind of dig my heels in and do something about it if necessary. So I became a certified life coach. I do call myself, however, a mindset coach because I can't really like tell you how to live your life. Can't
Right,
really how to do
right,
that,
right.
but I can help you change your mindset if that's something that you feel like you need in a particular area of your life. I can help you at least do that.
Hmm.
So I went from, providing the resources through my work to then becoming the resource. And that's kind of one of the things that was most important to me for scratching mindset coach or life coach off my list.
Okay, okay, that's awesome. And I saw, I think the other day you were talking
Mhm.
about it's your anniversary, like 7 years from graduating from
Yes.
college. And so
Yeah.
congratulations on that, because
Thank you.
that is a journey. And I also know like you're
Hmm.
you're coming on to like the next level of, that next
Yeah.
decade is coming up. And that's a journey in itself.
Hmm.
College for me was quite an experience. So I want to say like kudos to you for
Thank
recognizing at an
you.
early age, like I need to get my stuff together, like I need to learn how to balance these things, because
Hmm.
a lot of times we don't do that and we just keep pushing and
Right.
pushing and pushing, and we push the stuff to the back, and we're just like, oh no, we're just going to keep, nope, I'm not going to deal with that issue, I'm not going to deal with that issue. So
Hmm.
I just want to say, as an older woman, just like I am really, hey, I am older, in my
Not
40s,
like
I am in
not.
my 40s, darling,
No.
but
Mm-mm. That's way closer to me than what you feel like. I know, like, I'm 29, almost 30, but that's
Mhm.
way closer than what you feel like. So no,
But
I'm not even accepting that.
when you get to this age, like 29, I was trying to think, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even really remember 29. It feels like it was so
Mm,
long ago. And I was a
can't wait to
totally
get
different
there.
person. But I just want to say hats off to you. Kudos to you for,
Thank you.
pushing through and doing the hard work. And not only doing the hard work, but also reaching back to help others. And
Yeah.
that brings me to a little thing I saw, an adult play date. What is an adult
Yes.
play date?
Okay, so the play date. I am so glad you asked. The play date is literally an invention of mine from the mind of a bad woman, I feel like. So basically what happened, the story of the play date began when I was at the park, one
Hmm.
of my favorite parks here in Jacksonville one Saturday. And it's a pretty popular park, so a lot of people are always out there on Saturdays. You can find a little bit of everything, from people playing with their kids, walking the dog, roller skating, taking pictures, like professional pictures, a very picturesque area. And this particular Saturday, I was out there doing like some stretching, just kind of, taking in the scene and taking in nature and the sunlight.
Hmm.
And one of my friends like hit me up on social media and they were like, "We see you." And I'm like, "Where are you seeing me at?" And they were literally right across from me. But I'm
Oh,
so
okay.
into my stretching and I'm listening to music. I'm just feeling really good. And they're literally right across from me. So he and his wife were out there like roller skating together, just being adorable. On this particular day, there were like three Black couples out there that I saw just displaying all of this beautiful Black love. It was like a movie, right? This
Hmm.
day was literally like a movie. So I said to myself, how do I package the energy of this day and let other people in on it?
Hmm.
So that's how the play date began. And originally, the very first play date was literally me gathering friends, their kids at the same park. And I was like, we're going to recreate this whole day. I got them in on all of our throwback activities, chalk on the sidewalk. Some people did bring their roller skates, hula hoops, jump ropes, literally all the things that we would do as a kid. And the
Hmm.
purpose of that was to encourage creative play because we've been stuck inside for a whole year, essentially.
Right, right.
The first play date happened in May. And so I was like, at that time here in Florida, we kind of thought we were in the clear with COVID. So I was like, this is going to be a really great opportunity for everybody to kind of get back out and get reacquainted with each other. Of course, I want it to be for the kids so that they can, experience some outside time. And one of the things that I think we don't take seriously enough, or we kind of take for granted actually, is fresh air and being outside and letting the
Yes.
sunlight hit you and letting the breeze, touch your skin, and putting your hands and feet to the dirt. Those are things that you have to do sometimes, to kind of get back to yourself. It's a way of grounding yourself. For those of
Hmm.
you that don't know what grounding is, it's kind of finding a way back to yourself when you feel like your mind's kind of, going in a million different
All
directions,
over
and
the
your
place.
heart's going in a million different directions. You pull yourself in, you can ground yourself in a bunch of different ways. But that's the way that I decided I wanted to do that day. And it was an amazing success. I had no idea people would enjoy it as much as they did. So I did plan another that was supposed to be at the end of last month, but COVID is having some other plans, specifically
Yeah,
in Florida.
COVID.
Yeah, so that has been postponed,
Hmm.
actually until October 31st. So we'll see how everything looks with
And
COVID
that's
by
in
then.
Jacksonville. Jacksonville,
Yes,
correct?
it is
Okay.
in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, in the event that, we have to take things virtual, we can be a little bit everywhere, which would be
Hmm.
really, really great.
Hmm.
But we're going to see how everything goes in October, and hopefully we can get these COVID numbers down.
Okay, well, that's really awesome. And I think I saw the pictures and I said, that looks like so much
Yeah.
fun because some days I do, like, I just want to go to the park, get on the
Hmm.
swings, just hang out, and it reinvigorates you. It just makes you,
Yeah.
like, it gives you that energy and having the sun hit your skin, breathing that fresh air, and just being, not having to be responsible for anything, not having to think about, work,
Yes.
bills, anything. You could just be a kid for
Hmm.
20, 30 minutes, an hour, however long. But I am so, like, I saw that and I said, ooh, I want to
Yeah.
do something like that in LA. That looks
Yeah,
like
it
a
was, yeah,
lot
no,
of
it was
fun.
really cool. My goal, like my dream would be to travel with it, and really make it a thing. I don't know how that's going to look with, just the way the
Well,
world and things are going, but that is definitely a goal. Because again, to your point, to just be able to go back and be a kid for
hmm,
just those few hours, it was really nice. It was really touching to see like genuine joy on my
yeah.
friends' faces. Like we can all go out and have a good time, but there was something about getting back to childhood
Yeah,
activities.
getting back to
And was,
childhood, and then it sparks that creativity, and then you find
yeah.
yourself when you get back home that you like, ooh, I got the energy to do this. I've got this
Hmm.
idea, that idea, all those things. So you do a traveling play date, I'm down. I'm down
I
to
would love
help. I
to.
mean, come on out to LA. I mean, I have to make it to Florida, so when I come down there, I'll visit as well. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy that, like, you really, what made you get to the point that said, I'm not going to think about what other people are doing. Like, this is an idea and I'm just going to
Oh,
do it. How did you become so brave?
oh, that's a really great question. And that's actually something that I'm not even sure if I can answer all the way yet. Because I
Hmm.
think it's something that I'm still learning. But one of the things about my ideas, like I'll tell anybody, I'm a huge idea person. Like I will start with a big idea, and we could get to details later. I like to have other people help me figure out the details, but I love big ideas. And this one wasn't one of my biggest, but I was just thinking to myself for the play date specifically, no one that I knew, in my community had really done anything like that I'd seen. And
Hmm.
even if they had, one of the things that I've kind of learned on this journey is that I'm not the only mental health advocate. I'm not the only
Right.
mental health advocate, period. I am not the only mental health advocate that I know.
Right.
I am simply not the only person that occupies this space.
Right.
So starting with that and knowing, like making that my reality, is like, okay, that is the fact. But there are how many brands of bread, and there's how many brands of water,
Hmm.
there's how many brands of literally everything, and
Right.
all of those brands are making money.
Hmm.
Somebody's going to buy the Wonder Bread, somebody's going to buy the Marita. And it's just,
Exactly.
you have to learn how to do what it is that you do in the way that you do it.
Hmm.
So
I
I
get
know
it.
that sounds like very jumbled up, but honestly, you have to feel strong enough in your own power, and you have to feel strong in your ideas, and you have to feel strong about what it is that you're doing, because it is easy to get sidetracked. It's really easy to go on
Hmm.
Instagram and watch several other girls do what I do and even better. And of course, I
Right.
follow them because one, I'm inspired by them, and two, I mean, it's great content. So, duh, I'm also a fan of you. And
Right.
it does get really difficult to be like, man, I really wish I was at that point, or wow, I really wish I could pull off that type of event, or,
Hmm.
I wish my products were selling that well. But it's so cliche, but you just never know what somebody's journey is. Everybody's journey is different. Um, I like to say sometimes I think I make anxiety look a little bit too cute or too cool because it seems like I have everything all together, but I don't. And I try to be transparent about that as much as possible so that
Hmm.
people can, see a little bit of themselves. I don't want to say see imperfection, but
Hmm.
I mean there is no such thing. But I want people to see that like you can do it too, if that's what you choose to do, if you commit yourself to the process and if you allow the process to progress, which is very
Right.
difficult. But you just have to stand firm in what it is that you want to do and kind of keep your focus forward and not look to the right or the left because you will get distracted and you'll start comparing.
Yeah, yeah, that's difficult. And I think that's one of the things I was drawn to about you
Mm-hmm.
is that you were so transparent about your struggles with anxiety. And like when
Mm-hmm.
you have bad days or rough times, you would come out and say that. And that
Yeah.
kind of, just so you know, like that pushed me to like, I may not go out and say publicly, like I'm struggling too, but that was like, okay, Adrienne, you got to keep
Yeah.
going. You can keep doing this. Like just push through. It's bad days but not a bad time. It's not a bad season. We
Yeah.
just have
Yeah.
bad days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, how do those voices that say, oh, no, girl, don't do that. That's not a good idea. Or they're already doing that. Like, how do
Mm-hmm.
you, is there one particular thing you do to turn those voices off? Or because it comes, like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna
Yeah.
come.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people, when they look at Instagram and social media, they feel like, oh, it looks perfect. But no, we
Mm-hmm.
have those days where we're really like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
like, let me go back to my degree is in accounting. So some days I'm like, let me just go back to accounting and figure
Mm-hmm.
out how to do this. And then I'll have a moment or I'll get a message from somebody and I'll be like, okay, let me keep going. So for you, what makes you keep pushing through?
I love that you asked, like, aside from the keep pushing, keep going, because I was going to say that's what it is. But
Hmm.
I think, the same. Somebody somewhere is going to let me know that they're watching, listening, following. And it's just like, somebody heard me. And
Yeah.
every time it's just that somebody heard me, I keep going.
Hmm.
And it's not so much of wanting to be heard because like, oh, I want a platform, I want to be seen, but I really got into this work for myself and for other people
Hmm.
because I know that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person that
Right.
struggles with anxiety. I'm not the only person who looks like us that struggles with anxiety.
Right.
And that's why I try to be transparent about the bad days because, like I just said, um, sometimes I feel like I made anxiety kind of look cool.
Hmm.
Like, I think a lot of people look at me and they think, well, okay, well, she says she has anxiety and, I believe her, but she's,
She's getting it
doing really
done. You
well and
are,
she's getting it.
yes.
Yeah. And it's just like, that is great and it's true.
Hmm.
And thank you so much for noticing. But I'm kind of like losing my mind on the back end here.
Right,
But,
right, right, right.
and that's the part that, one of the things I never want to do is kind of just like always broadcast those bad days
Hmm.
because I don't, I want to make sure that, my supporters also don't get stuck there. Like you can see me there. Like
Right,
I want you to see me be here, but please don't watch me get stuck. And if
right,
in the event I am stuck, please watch me ask for help.
right,
Like
right.
I don't mind sharing that part of myself because I never want to be the mental health, I hate the word influencer, but I never want to be the mental health advocate that is just positivity all the time.
Right.
Like, that's really cool. I'm here for positivity. I try to keep a positive mindset,
Hmm.
but with the way the world works,
Yeah,
that's
those
simply
days are
just,
not always, yeah, it's not
yeah,
always good days.
yeah,
No.
that's unrealistic. And I don't ever want my healing to come across as unrealistic. I don't ever want to give, my supporters, any unrealistic advice. So,
Hmm.
it's like when I'm feeling down or when I have those bad days and when I see, people in my Instagram comments or on social media or somebody, text me and just like, yeah, I can totally relate. I completely understand where you're coming from, or times when somebody asks me for my advice, it's those things that always call back to me. And it's just like, yeah, you're on the right path. It might not look like it, might not feel like it sometimes, but
Hmm.
it's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm always thankful for that.
Right. No, and I'm thankful for you. And your podcast is called The Strong Friend Check-In, which I love
Yes. Thank you.
because that is something that I'm like, you got to check on the strong friend because I
Hmm.
found a few years back when I was struggling and I, discovered that like I have anxiety. It was like,
Hmm.
mm, I didn't talk about like I wasn't the I was the strong
Yeah.
friend, but I didn't tell people. So now that I start sharing my testimony of what I've gone through and what I was healed from, people are like, I never knew.
Hmm.
But that's why again why I do what I do because I'm like there's some other woman that's feeling like well everybody looks up to me. I can't be the
Right.
one to say I'm having a bad day. I'm
Hmm.
doubting myself or I don't think I'm good enough or whatever. So I'm glad that
Hmm.
you titled it the strong friend check-in because
Yeah.
we don't check in on the strong friends. And
We
it seems
don't.
like but not only do we not check on the strong friends, I feel like most black women are the strong friend.
Yep.
Am I lying? Like
No,
we
you're
are the
not.
one. I feel like just with my circle and the more that I travel and communicate and network with other
Hmm.
people, I'm finding that it's a common denominator. It's a lot of black women that are sitting at home struggling and feeling like they are the only ones going through
Hmm.
that thing and beating themselves up. So again, kudos to you.
Thank
And when
you.
does your podcast air?
My podcast is actually off for the season. We will be back sometime in the fall,
Okay.
maybe.
All right.
Everything with COVID, I am telling you. But I did have plans to be back in the fall. The podcast actually comes out on Mondays. It's finally because Apple stopped playing games with me. So it's finally on all streaming platforms. You can listen to it anywhere. But yes, like you said, Strong Friend Check-In. I created that, like I said earlier, to just keep having these same conversations, but
Mm-hmm.
with different people.
Right.
My blog was centered on me. I was telling my story, and I, came to a realization like I'm not the only one. So
Mm-hmm.
let's bring some other people in to talk because the way that I became interested in mental health and thinking more about thinking more about it was actually through other podcasts that I listened to.
Mm-hmm.
And so they made it cool for me to want to get help. And I was like, if I can do that for other people,
Right.
that is what I want to do. So I did it. And it's been awesome. It's been a really cool journey. I did not think that I would I'm not gonna say I didn't think I would have a podcast because I want a podcast and I was like, oh, it's cool, but I didn't really anticipate it like really
Taking off.
impacting people. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't expect for it to really impact people. I wanted it to. Because that was my goal for Strong Friend Check-In is to bring attention to mental wellness, period. Because
Hmm.
like you said, with most black women, we are the strong friend. And so it's just like, okay, well, if I'm the strong friend, like where my strong friend and where your strong friend, it's just like
Exactly.
we all like it's just like a never ending chain. So it's like we all need to be checking on each other.
On each other,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and it's just my way of trying to make sure that we do that, even if it's just once a week on a Monday.
No, I love it. And it's also
Mhm.
good. It's a good way to break that stigma of
Yeah.
mental health and mental illness and, having different traumas that go on in our lives. Like just seeing how you may hear the
Hmm.
same person is going through the same thing that you're going through, but
Yeah.
seeing that the healing looks different and
Hmm.
seeing the different ways that we can heal and that it's not always a straight path to
Yeah.
get to healing. That
Hmm.
sometimes you may, have to do something a little alternative or look into holistic things. Like for me,
Yeah.
I have like a disdain for medication, so I never
I
wanted to
get it.
be that
Hmm.
that person. And I really started when my anxiety got incredibly bad. That's when I started looking into the
Hmm.
breath work, and I was like, let me see if this really works because it sounds
Hmm.
like it, but
Right.
it really
Yeah.
works. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that you do that. And again, like that's what I think us as mental health workers,
Hmm.
advocates, that's our responsibility is to show that healing looks different to everyone, but
Hmm.
also, to offer that to people and give them an alternative because you can't just get it sitting up in the church. And I love the church, I love God,
Yeah.
but there's
Hmm.
other things that you have to do. You have to put in the work. And I think
Yeah.
that's where a lot of people make that mistake is that healing is not like snap your fingers and I'm better.
Yeah.
Like it's
No.
work that yeah, exactly. No. You
There's no
gotta
yeah. There's no praying it away. I'm
no.
sorry